everybody. Can you all hear me? Hopefully, after this afternoon, all of you know what I am, i.e. the father of the bride. Who I am is Simon. Okay, so welcome to you all. I do have to say that having had a quick chat with Adam, my speech is going to be just simply an hors d'oeuvre before the main course. And Martyn, I already really feel for you. Anyway, simply enriching the lives of Bryony and Martyn, and you are sincerely valued because of that. Your presence here today is therefore very important to us. You have given your time. Some of you have travelled long distances and made special arrangements to be here to celebrate Bryony and Martyn's special day. And for that, we are extremely grateful. There's a Swedish proverb that claims that a joy shared is a joy double. So thank you all very much for bringing so much joy to today's proceedings. We do hope you have been enjoying the magnificent setting and the day as much as us, and that you too will have lasting happy memories of this occasion. So on days like this that you hope everything goes without a hitch, but I'm pleased to report that thanks to the officiants today, there has finally been at least one hitch. A wedding is of course a time for joy, fun and celebration, with friends and family gathered to see the happy couple off as they start their new life. But it is a time too when our thoughts inevitably turn to those people who have meant so much to us and shaped our families, but sadly could not be here today. I know they and many others will be looking down and celebrating today just as we are. So let us raise a glass and toast those who we miss greatly, but remember with love. To absent friends.
Absent friends.
As the proud father of the beautiful bride, it is my duty, honour and privilege to give the first speech. I must admit I am a little apprehensive today, and it's not just because I'm making this important speech. For this speech, in order to avoid Bryony's displeasure, I decided to exclude content such as ex-boyfriends, driving behaviour, which resulted in the writing off at least one car, childhood incidents and the like, which is sad as it removed at least 30 minutes worth of humorous, embarrassing and quite frankly shocking material. Of course I also did it as I really don't want to embarrass my daughter doing this speech. But I'll save that for later in return for a drink. So, Bryony Frances Martyn was born on the 27th of June 1986, just 13,497 days ago. And as with all fathers and their daughters, it was love at first sight. A wise woman once said that making a decision to have a child is momentous. It is to decide forever to have your heart go walking around outside your body. Well, I didn't know that until Bryony was born, but it's a feeling I still recognise that stays with me today, and one that extends to my sons and Bryony's brothers, David and Sam. Now, I'm not going to go through each and every one of those precious days. I'm just going to say that you are a wonderful daughter, and you have provided us with so much happiness over the years. It's been a joy for both your mum and me to watch you develop from our gorgeous baby daughter into the very beautiful, clever, compassionate and extremely loving adult daughter, mother and wife that you have become. But let's just set the scene. It was a Friday in the era of Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher. We were an integral part of the EU, but we're not talking Brexit today. In fact, looking back at the news headlines for 1986, Bryony's birth was not only the undoubted highlight of our year and lives, but arguably everybody else's as well. There wasn't much good news around. Amongst the events were the signing of the Anglo-French treaty to build the Channel Tunnel, Halley's Comet reaching its closest point to the Earth in the 20th century, and the Sun's front page exclusive that comedian Freddie Starr, who some of you may remember, ate someone's hamster. Just lost my back. Anyway, the top-selling single on Bryony's birthday was Edge of Heaven by Wham. The top-grossing movie of 1986 was, strangely enough, Top Gun, and Phantom of the Opera debuted in London's West End. My cousin Mervyn, who unfortunately can't be here today, may disagree with our assertion regarding Bryony as the 1986 highlight, as his beloved Oxford United were in the First Division and won the League Cup that year. But now Bryony has matured into a kind and wonderful woman and a great mum and wife. And this kind of brings me on to Martyn. Intelligent, kind, suave, handsome, humorous, athletic, a born leader. He's a perfect...
It's not him.
Everything's relative, and in our family, he's a perfect fit for our family. I also confess I warmed instantly to Martyn when my credit file search revealed he ran his own business. That's when I realised he was the one. Now I do have praise for Martyn here, about 3.5 pages about what a super cool guy he is and what great deeds he has done. But I'm sorry Martyn, on the 3 pages you gave me, I can't even read it right. Seriously though, Bryony and Martyn met, their relationship blossomed, they fell in love and made a home together. It's a testament to their qualities as parents that together with Alfie, Isla and Finley, they blended quickly into a close and loving family, which was cemented further 2 years ago with the birth of Mabel. Over the last few years, I have come to know Martyn as a good, solid man, who has already impressed us with his caring, thoughtfulness and unshakable love for Bryony and the children. And what more could a parent want for their daughter? So Martyn, welcome officially to the family. You already know you are joining a close, loving and loyal family. I'm not losing a daughter because I can't ever give her away. You know that. But instead, I'm gaining a son-in-law who will be of great assistance when I'm undertaking home improvements.
No, he won't.
Apparently, it's traditional for the father of the bride to give constructive marital advice. So here goes. To Bryony, the best way to get Martyn to do something is to suggest to old boy. To Martyn, forget the wedding anniversary once, and you'll remember it for the rest of your life. To you both, it is worth bearing in mind none of us will ever be perfect. Neither of you will ever be perfect. But you can, as you have already shown, be a perfect match for each other. A successful marriage is not about finding a person you can live with, but finding a person that you can't live without. And I know that you found that with each other. Always be good communicators, good listeners, and be kind and tolerant. In that particular regard, I quote from George Bernard Shaw. Marriage is an alliance entered into by a man who can't sleep with the window shut and a woman who can't sleep with the window open. So ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to ask you to please stand and raise a glass and join me in a toast to our 2 VIPs, my beautiful daughter Bryony and my son-in-law Martyn. As Bryony's nanny would have written in her card to you today were she here, the same thing she wrote in all her family cards. God bless you and keep you safe always. To the bride and groom. Now I shall hand over to the groom.
Martyn, stand up.
Right, before we start, let's just state a few facts. Yes, I am actually standing up. Yes, I am a little nervous. And yes, I am punching way above my weight. Okay? So any of you that have got any jokes Ready? Okay, hopefully quashed down. Simon, thanks for that wonderful speech. And in 1986, I was running on Boston Street Park from the police. Smashing the school windows and drinking 2 or 3 bottles of white wine. Okay, sorry, yeah, I should have probably done that. Was on that third sheet. Okay, to kick things off, could we please all stand? We're going to raise your glasses. I'd just like everybody on their feet and give Mrs. Sinclair a standing ovation. My speech is in 2 minutes, and that's now about a minute and a half of that gone. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I had prepared a superb speech for you today, but unfortunately, now that I'm married, I've been told to read this one instead. But I guess that's married by pay, chaps. Could you all please have your glasses charged and ready for a few toasts along the way, and we'll just quickly do them as quickly as possible, because I know Adam, my best man there, also wants to toast a few people as well. So, on behalf of my wife and I, we welcome you all and thank you for sharing our special day with us here in this wonderful setting and with this glorious weather. And wow, what a beautiful group of people we have in this room to celebrate our wedding. We hope that you enjoy every second of your day and evening, just as my wife and I are going to enjoy ours. So a quick toast for all you guests. So, a toast please for the guests. I did research to see how long a groom's speech should last for, and it varies from up to 10 minutes down to just a few minutes. And as Bryony is very used to some things only lasting a few minutes, sometimes only a few seconds. Funny. I thought I'd better up my game a little by lasting a bit longer. I did ask Bryony what she loved about me the most, and I thought it would be my youthful good looks or my tall, athletic physique. That's not looking funny either. But no, she said it was how I made her laugh, especially in the bedroom, when I removed my clothes. That's not funny either. I have to say a huge thank you to this beautiful girl, my best friend, my rock, my soulmate, my cook, my cleaner. I am joking. Sorry. 4 hours in, is it? Thank you, Bryony, for making me the happiest and luckiest man alive. I am sure you will agree that Bryony looks absolutely stunning. And I knew I would cry when she arrived at my side at the altar, but I make no apologies for that, as it made me remember just how much that wedding dress actually cost. So I think I read that wrong. All joking apart, Bryony, thank you so much for agreeing to be my wife and for making my life complete and simply perfect. I really should say some thank yous, as is tradition. Thank you, Shelley, my lovely sister, for doing the reading, for keeping me calm this morning and the rest of the house, and for being a massive part of our lives. I treasure how close you and Bryony have become over the last few years. It really means the world to us. Thank you, Linda, Will, Simon, Sarah, for granting me permission to ask your beautiful daughter to marry me. Your love and support for us and our family is something that we so appreciate and cherish. I do promise to look after her always, or until I'm too old to anyway. And then she'll probably look after me. To my mum, Barbie, over there. Mum, you are amazing, and thank you for everything you have done for Bryony, me, our children, over the years, and thank you for making me dress up in my sister's clothes, in the hand-me-down clothes, as a young child, which ironically, all these years later, actually helped me with my stag do outfit, which my so-called friends and family made me wear a couple of weeks ago on Great Yarmouth Seafront. For those of you who don't know, I was made to wear a very tight red Pamela Anderson swimsuit, blonde wig, and rather large false boobs. I looked horrendous. As the pictures will show, which I'm sure will be shown tonight at various times or on request, if you haven't had the misfortune to see them as yet. But anyway, thanks Mum, I love you for that. Thank you to my groomsmen. Simon, my father-in-law. My brother Tom. My great friend Nick, thank you for being my witness today, by the way. My son Finley, my stepson Alfie, nephew Harry, and of course my best man Adam. But I have to say that you can't trust a word he says, and he's a very bad man. But I love you all. Thanks guys. Can we just have a quick toast to all the groomsmen? The groomsmen. Thanks to our wonderful bridesmaids. Emma, Chrissy, Vicky, Emily, Nikki, Helen, Vicky, Hannah, and of course, Isla, and Mabel. Did I miss anyone there? I was really nervous that I was going to miss someone. You all look amazing. Thank you for looking after my gorgeous wife, not just today, but every day. Emma, a special thank you to you, as you're our next door neighbour and our fourth emergency service, who is always there to step in and help whenever needed. Can I have a quick toast, please, to the bridesmaids? Bridesmaids. Before I hand over to Adam, who you really shouldn't trust, I would like to reflect a little. It's true that for many years I stumbled through life without much direction, struggling to settle or commit. But I would like to look back and think that every mistake, every wrong turn or setback has led to this path that I am now on, and given me this opportunity to find love and a happiness that I didn't know existed. So without my past, I wouldn't have today. I am blessed to have such wonderful children. Finley, Alfie, Isla, not forgetting our cheeky but adorable Mabel June, who are loved and cared for by their incredible mum. I wouldn't have my wonderful in-laws. Bryony's family and friends who have all welcomed me into their lives with real warmth. You really are a lovely lot. Thank you to my family, my friends, and of course we cannot forget all those family members who sadly are no longer with us, but we're smiling down on us. There's only another 7 pages to go. Dad, thank you for providing the sunshine for us today. I did have a chat with you a few weeks ago and you said you'd have a word with the big fella up there, and you've delivered, so thank you for that. You have missed out so much over the past 40 years, but I know you are here with us as always. I'll be so proud of Bryony and our beautiful children on our special day. I'm immensely proud of the Sinclair name. That's for you, Aunt Patsy and Terry. So I hope, Bryony, that you'll be as proud as I am to be a Sinclair too. And finally, I am getting there, it is only right to finish talking about my beautiful wife. We first met when I popped into the next store that she worked in to purchase some home furnishings. I only bought a picture and a clock, but who would ever have thought that I would have just met my future wife. I knew straight away that I'd met someone very special, and although some time passed, we gradually dated, we laughed, we shared special trips away, and we soon fell in love. Bryony is the kindest, sweetest, and most caring person you could ever wish to meet. She's loyal, devoted, and loves everyone around her. She's radiant, smart, and lights up every room that she walks into. She runs the kids about to numerous clubs every week and works tirelessly for Isla's school, Friends of Barford, organising lots of events and fundraising. She stands on the sides of cold football pitches cheering Alfie on, and many plays that Isla stars in. She supports me in everything I do and never complains. Well, not to me anyway. Yeah, no one else, aren't they? She always supports me with all my football days, nights out and many meetings. And I have to thank her for her support and understanding in all that I do. Not sure it's the right time though to tell her that I'm taking up golf. She said I'm not, so I'm not. Together we brought Mabel into this world. Wow, wasn't that a shock? During COVID there was an awful lot of Netflix films. Unfortunately we ran out of films. And isn't it amazing what you can achieve in 30 seconds? I thought it was longer. I couldn't ask for a better mum to our darling little girl, and also a wonderful mum to Finn and of course Alfie and Ida. When we first dated, we always talked of one day. Well, today, Bryony, today is our one day. Here's to our future together. My gorgeous wife, I love you with all my heart, and no one will ever love you as much as I do. Thank you, Mrs. Sinclair. Before I do hand over to Alan, who I've told you cannot trust, we have a toast, please, for the amazing Bryony Sinclair. I would just also like to thank Frankie and all the staff at Norfolk Beach today that have laid on a super fantastic venue for us in terms of food, everything you've done for us today, Frankie. You've made us relaxed, and it's been such a nice day, and you've made that even more special. So thank you on behalf of me.
Good afternoon, everybody. So, for those, thanks for that, Cindy, by the way. Great couple of speeches there. Unfortunately, mine will be a little bit longer, so settle in, but I'll try and go as quickly as I can through this. So, yeah, good afternoon, everybody. My name's Adam. For those of you that don't know me, I'm the best man today. Obviously, being a popular little fella, Cindy had plenty of candidates for this role today. Probably most of those candidates have got a lot more juicy stories on him than I have, actually, which is probably why he chose me. He thinks he went for the safe option, but we'll see about that. I'm sure, however, those sitting at table 10, just over there, would be willing to share a story, maybe around here or maybe at the bar in a little bit, about the things I wasn't asked to mention, i.e. the midgets, the chains and the whips. So, yeah, given this responsibility, obviously it's a great honour to be standing here as City's best man today. I thought to myself, look, how can I shape this speech to be just like this gentleman? So the speech today will be full of exaggeration, short, and not very funny. No, seriously, it is a privilege to be here today to watch City marry the beautiful Bryony. Bryony looks absolutely amazing. I do have to say, Cindy, just how lucky you are. You'll leave here today with your wonderful wife, who is beautiful, warm, loving, caring, radiates beauty wherever she goes. And Bryony, of course, you're lucky too, because you'll leave here today with a beautiful dress and a bouquet of flowers. All of the wonderful bridesmaids, of course, as well, done a fantastic job today. So at this point in time, I would also like to toast the bridesmaids. So if you don't mind raising your glasses, ladies and gentlemen, to the bridesmaids. I would, of course, go through each bridesmaid and name them one by one, but I've been told I've only got 15 minutes, so I might not have time for that. So, some of you know that Cindy and I have formed a fairly swift friendship in the last 8 or 9 years. So I won't be standing here telling you stories of our school days, etc., not least because he'd finished school by the time I even started. But instead, I'll be sharing more recent memories that have seen us experience pretty much everything together. Well, not quite everything, although we did get fairly cosy one night in a tent under the stars, which I'll come to shortly. It wasn't actually, though, until we were thrown together for the Great Yarmouth Tame job in 2015 that we actually got to know each other properly. Cindy's record meant that, for me, there was immediate respect for him. We quickly formed a strong partnership. The intensity and Cindy's willingness to make it work only served to deliver success and accelerate our friendship. Despite Cindy's success in football, in business, and as a dad, he shows unbelievable modesty, and which makes him a very humble person. It wasn't wasn't only the football, but also the community interaction piece, which helped build respect for each other. Cine has a passion for supporting local charities and volunteered for years on the Galston Lifeboat, further demonstrating his selflessness to help others. And over the years, he's managed to raise a fair amount for good causes, which I think, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, deserves a round of applause. So, our first charity stunt together, I was very inspired by this man, so we set about doing a few charity stunts together. The first one was 24 hours on the streets of Great Yarmouth for a homeless charity. I remember basically telling Cine rather than asking him that we were doing it, and the look of fear and despair on his face. It was like I just told him we were spending a night on the streets of Baghdad in 2002. To be fair, as it panned out, it wasn't much better than that. Next up, we walked 55 miles from one of our games from the Wellesley to Stowmarket for mental health charity Mind. Bryston saw the first twinge to Cine's knee. Sorry, I should have said, by the way, for those of you that call him Martin, you may hear me referring to Cine quite a lot. It's this gentleman just here, for anyone that doesn't know. Bryston saw the first twinge to Cine's knee, then Blunderston saw us treating blisters on each other's feet, which became a regular occurrence for both of us for the remainder of the journey. The trip included an overnight stay. The trip included an overnight stay in a pub car park in a tent. The tent was one of these single skin pop-up jobs, full of condensation. If it wasn't the 3rd of November and -2, it's fair to say it'd be a bit cosy in there. By the way, Cine was the little spoon. The next day we eventually got going and made it to the ground, where we were greeted by an awaiting crowd. I'm pleased to say after that mammoth trek, it was well worth it because we only lost 5-1 that day. One of the most embarrassing times came from a video challenge Cine started with our players to help team spirit on a Friday before a Saturday's game. So, the senior lads would set the weekly challenges for everyone to carry out, record and submit to the group. Some of these included, just to give you a few examples, do 20 keep-ups in Tesco's in a full kit. Cine did that, we all did it. Read a poem with an animal in shot. This is not any animal, this is not a domestic animal, this is something that you might find elsewhere. So we had cows, swans, chickens, even seals. I think Cine's was a Shetland pony. Well, to the rest of us it was a Shetland pony, but I think he thought it was a full-size horse. So they went on Friday after Friday, and Cine and I thought we should play along to promote togetherness in the squad. So then came the challenge. Do 20 press-ups wearing swimming trunks and a mask of a celebrity's face. So Cine and I decided we'd do this one together, didn't we? Remember that? Yeah. So we decided we'd do this one together. So I arrived at his house in Galston. We set up the camera, then proceeded to strip down to our Speedos. No questions asked, just a polite nod at each other's pants. Before putting on our Jimmy Savile and Rolf Harris mask. Cine was Jimmy. So, after a few takes, we finally nailed the video. We then stood up, gave each other a high five before hearing the dreaded sound. A knock on the window by a delivery driver. The poor guy must have been terrified looking into Cine's front room at Rolf Harris and Jimmy Savile in budgie smugglers. Cine's immediate and instinctive reaction was to drop to the floor like a stone. He then seamlessly went into a commando roll to the safe shelter underneath his bay window. I had to go to the door, mask still in place, and sign for the parcel while Cine was still frozen in the fetal position. Moving on, so when Cine started to see Bryony, I remember him telling me that he'd met someone he really liked and was amazing. By the time I'd met Bryony, I felt like I knew her as Cine didn't stop talking about her. When she was eventually introduced to me and some of the others, I've never ever heard the phrase or seen the phrase punching above your weight used so much. He did take some stick, bless him. But he survived the banter, and through a combination of regular visits to the home department in next door in Norwich, where Bryony worked. By the way, Cindy reportedly bought the whole range of decorative scatter cushions one by one, just to pay her a regular visit. Along with keeping himself fit and holding enough stock of hair, he might blag his way to an engagement and catch the love of his life. Talking of those early stages, I can only imagine how difficult it was for Cindy to keep up with his younger lady. But all relationships flourish, grow and evolve through these stages. And as the relationship is not the only thing that grows, I thought a good representation of the stages, typical stages of all relationships, and their journey might be to look back at the typical underwear for each stage. So, those early stages, like the picnic in South Walsham, of course, were hot and sexy times. And would have been well represented by exhibit number 1, please, Paul. Thank you. Excellent. Yes, that was silly, by the way, I'm talking about it. Of course, you know, I'd imagine Bryony wanted to really test her older gentleman and his stamina. So probably had exhibit number 1 in 4 more colours, as demonstrated in exhibit number 2. Thank you. 3, 4 and 5. 5? Yeah. There they are.
Well done, Mel. You're carrying up to 5.
So it goes without saying, they probably couldn't withstand this early, very fast pace. Sydney certainly couldn't. And as things got a bit more comfortable, as they do in all relationships, typically we see things evolve. So in the next stages, it's common to see examples of exhibit number 6, please. Yeah, getting a little bit. Thank you. Swiftly followed by exhibit number 7. There they are from John. So we can really feel the comfort factor growing here. Which brings us right up to the present day. Now, Cindy, I know you've never been married before, so you won't know what post-wedding underwear might look like. Now, if you're lucky, and if you get that far, you may see a reappearance of exhibits 1 to 5 tonight. But after tonight, and starting from tomorrow, be prepared for plenty of my final exhibit for the rest of your life, other than your birthday and maybe Christmas. Ladies and gentlemen, actually, I thought it would be good if this person showed the next exhibit for obvious reasons. Please could we see exhibit number 8 from Bryony's dad. So, yeah, we did have a stag do, as Cindy described a couple of weeks ago. Again, as best man, I felt a responsibility for arranging something in somewhere like Ibiza, Marbella or Vegas. But Cindy insisted on the no-fuss, low-budget option in his typical Cindy style of keep it low-key. So we ended up in Norfolk's equivalent of Vegas, Great Yarmouth Seafront. Now, Cindy actually described it himself, but I would share some pictures of what we dressed Cindy in, but as there's children in the room, I don't want to give anybody nightmares. So now the family is complete, after the combined Madhouse and Heather set was established, which brought together Finn, Alfie, Isla, and the safe arrival of little Mabel to form a fantastic family unit. Cindy was, as he described, initially quite concerned actually about being 48 when Mabel arrived and adding to the family. But he soon got his head around it when he realised that he'd get a free bus pass for the school run. And soon, there's no need to worry, because I have contacted Heatherset High School, and when my Mabel is in her final years at high school in 2035, they've promised me that you will be able to attend Parents' Evening because there will be a mobility ramp fitted for you. So ladies and gentlemen, now they've tied the knot, most married couples, of course, at this stage would be considering getting today done and then thinking about going on their honeymoon, of course. Actually, these two aren't doing that. These two are about to embark on a load of DIY around the house. At least I assume that's what they're doing, because this morning Cindy told me that for the next 2 weeks they'll be banging and screwing. Apologies to some. So Cindy, I did have 6 pieces of advice, but Simon nicked one of them, so I'm going to go with 5 pieces of advice in your married life. Number 1, never go to bed on an argument. Number 2, use these 3 words regularly. You're right, Bryony. Women are here to be loved, not understood. Now, this is a bit of interaction for everybody actually, but Cindy and Bryony, please turn to each other and look at each other deeply in the eyes. And the same for every couple, if you don't mind, just turn to your partner and look deeply and lovingly into their eyes. Now, statistically, you're looking at the person most likely to murder you. Final piece of advice, number 5. Always get on with your mother-in-law. Very important. Yes. Although I'm not sure how this has started off, actually, because I was chatting with Linda a little while ago, and she said it only feels like yesterday that we were sending Bryony to bed with a dummy. It's funny how history repeats itself, isn't it? Now, don't worry ladies and gentlemen, I'm coming towards the end, stay with me. Just before I go on, there is a couple of telegrams actually that have come in that I need to just cover. The first one is to Bryony actually. So yeah, this is to Bryony from City's veteran football team. Dear Bryony, we found City to be pretty useless in every position. We hope he's a little bit better tonight. This one, Martyn, City. Dear Cindy, we're so sorry that we could not be with you on your special day. We found it far too emotional losing someone like you and a valued customer. See you all again soon, from all the girls at Fallen Angels. Okay, that's the telegrams over. I don't think we had any more. So, no, okay. Cindy, I'd like to thank you for your friendship. You're a very caring and considerate person, and I'm absolutely honoured to be standing here today with you to celebrate your wedding. You make the most perfect couple, and I wish you, Bryony, Finn, Alfie, Isla, and Aladdin the happiest and healthiest of futures together. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask you for a final time to charge your glasses for the 2 people that have brought us all together in one room today, and if you're able to, please be upstanding. Ladies and gentlemen, to the bride and groom. Thank you very much. John, funny you say that. 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock tonight is going to be happy hour. I've left 20 quid behind the bar. Alright, 25 quid behind the bar. Now, I'd like everyone to have a drink or 2 on us, okay? I ask you not to go too silly, and no vodka Baileys, John White. Okay? No cocktails, no woo-woos, okay? My brother Tom. But no, honestly, I forgot to mention it in my speech.
we'd like to buy you all a drink or two, so between 8 and 9 tonight, be happy at the bar, and there'll be a drink on us. Okay? Enjoy yourselves.